A&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
All right, hello and welcome to another edition of Morning Tailgate preseason edition or off season, I guess you can call it. I'm the host, Big B. Brought with me today is Crispy Bacon. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. How's everybody this morning or
Doing
afternoon?
doing good. And then he's back again. Hopefully all season. Halfway around the world, we got Tim. Tim, how you doing?
Doing good. Hope everybody else is having a good Sunday.
Yep. So far, so good. We all woke up. And we are brought to you by Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. So, guys, the big blockbuster this week. Kansas City traded Hill to the Dolphins, and then the Dolphins signed him to a max deal. So, Tim, what did you think about that big move?
I think lately we've been saying every week we can't believe something like this is going to happen, and then turn around the week tells us that we don't know what we're talking about. It caught me completely off guard. I guess that's pretty much what the motto of this show is going to be: is completely off guard. We were just talking last week about Kansas City going and doing all these moves for the offensive side of the ball, and then lo and behold, Kansas City and Miami thought they'd like to answer that question for us, and they went ahead and completely off guard.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that would have predicted this move. But Chris, what do you think about the big move?
Hey, I mean, good for him. He got paid. He got paid really good, and I just hope it turns out really well for him.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for some kind of leak to come out and say that there was some bad words in the locker room or some kind of bad situation that evolved. A lot of people are pointing to the Devontae Adams contract and with the Raiders that's what Hill wanted, and Kansas City offered him something a little bit better than what he had, but turned it down, so they ended up moving him to the Dolphins. So Chris, how much better does that make Tua and the Dolphins?
Hopefully, it makes it, the team a lot better. A lot better. I know Tua struggled last year, and started quarterback off and on. I know he had injury issues, but hopefully, it makes him a little better this coming year, and that he can prove the doubters wrong, that he can play.
Tim, how much better do you think the Dolphins are with Hill and Tua now?
You pair Tua with Devontae Parker. Hopefully they don't go and trade Parker away just to do something completely stupid. But with that, you make that offense exponentially better. You've got a deep threat now with Tyreek Hill. You make that better. I think you may have. I know people are going to look at me crazy. I think New England has got to worry about them being the second team and the best team in the East. I think Miami becomes a good contender at a spot for a contendership, and maybe second best team in the AFC East behind the Bills.
Yeah, I mean we've been talking about how Denver and all those guys got better. That's gonna be a fun division to watch. But now over in the East, I mean Dolphins, Patriots, Bills, and it's always fun to watch the Jets explode. So I mean that might be another division. I mean to me, I think the AFC all around is gonna be a fun division to watch, conference to watch, I should say. So with that being said, Tim, you guys upgraded a little bit at quarterback. So, how much does Matt Ryan excite you, and how much can he bring to the Colts?
I think a lot of my prayers were answered. My questions from last week were answered, thinking that we needed a quarterback, and I think now we have a team that can really maybe give Tennessee a little bit of a worry. Bring in another receiver, you bring in another weapon, Matt Ryan, Jones, maybe a Landry, and then I think you start putting the pieces together, and I think we can be contenders in the South if we can add another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, Chris, what do you think? What do you think Matt Ryan to the Colts means for them?
I kind of agree. I mean, it makes them a little stronger because, Carson Wentz last year, he was good. They've had, and Philip Rivers, he was good with the team as well. But I think when you have a veteran quarterback, not, not just with the Colts, but with any team, it makes your team a little better with that veteran experience, even if he is a backup or not. And I know in this case, Matt Ryan's not, but it gives the Colts a better chance at potentially making a big run in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't know. I mean, some people say they upgraded. Some people say, it didn't really make a difference. Why they get rid of Wentz? But Ryan's proven that he can play. He can ball. Give him some weapons, like Tim said, and Tennessee division to lose, but the Colts are going to make it pretty interesting again this year, I think. So outside of that, I did not see any other big moves. A lot of minor moves. Chris, I know you kind of keep up with it. Was there any other big moves besides those two that we should talk about?
I didn't really see any big moves, but I know that there's still, I don't know if doubt, but some more things come up with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
That's still up in the air. But I mean, right now he's a Cleveland Brown, and maybe he's at the moment he's the backup, and potentially could become the starter if Baker Mayfield either one is out of Cleveland or he struggles.
yeah. So since there wasn't no other big moves, let's talk about something we kind of missed last week, and we kind of brought it up as we're parting ways. The passing of John Clayton, ESPN reporter, journalist. Tim, what's your thoughts on John Clayton and the news last week that he passed?
I thought it was in sports in the football journalism thing. I think it's not as big as John Madden was, but it's huge. I think with somebody like John Clayton, you knew exactly what you were going to get. He took everything at face value. If you knew it was coming out of his mouth, you knew it was good as gold. It was the gospel truth, and he was never anybody that would pray and live on rumors. He didn't come unless he had the facts, and this day and age, that's rare and few, far between. And I think he's definitely going to be missed coming up in the season and seasons here on out.
No, totally agree. Chris, what is your thoughts? I know you're a little younger
Yeah.
than me and Tim, so what's your thoughts on John Clayton and the news of him passing last week?
No, it's in the sports industry, whether it's journalism or just playing the game, it's hard to hear. But he was one of those guys that you could like Tim said, you heard it from him. It was probably true, most likely true. He was one to get his facts right. He wanted to get it out there, but not necessarily be the first one to get it out there. He did his facts. He did research. He talked to the right people. Uh, and he'll be missed. I know he had a good Sports Center moment with one of their commercials when he was, doing it from his house. The shoot or whatever, but he'll be missed.
Yeah, he definitely will be missed, and like you guys already said, I mean, he wanted to be the first, but he didn't want to really be the first to report things. He wanted to be accurate, and that's one thing. I think Tim said it that a lot of people are missing now. They want to be the first one to report things and take the rumors as if they were gold. Where John Clayton took what he knew and brought it out when it was guaranteed. So yeah, John Clayton definitely will be missed all around. Be interesting to see what kind of tribute maybe the NFL does for him this year. But like Tim said, I mean, it's not like you're losing John Madden, which was big, but Clayton's up there. Possibly maybe Mount Rushmore of analysts and reporters that ESPN has had. So yeah, so just want to touch a little bit on that. So I came across an article on ESPN. Speaking of them, uh, some changes, some proposed changes, I should say, that um, teams have sent to the NFL. So the first one here, and I'm going to run them down, and then we can kind of talk about them as we go, maybe grade them out. So teams are proposing changes. The first one is mandatory possessions. What would happen? It would guarantee each team a possession in overtime, no matter what happened on the opening possession. If one team has a point advantage after the first two possessions, the team wins. If the team remains tied, play will continue up to 10 minutes with the next score winning. Pretty much, to me, that sounds like the exact same thing that we got going on now. You know, so that one, the pros, it would eliminate possibilities of one possession overtimes. The cons, it would make the game longer than they otherwise would have been. ESPN has graded this proposal as a B plus. To me, it's just a little bit. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but to me, it's kind of like what we have now. You know, so. And then the second part of that one, another mandatory possession. A team would win on the opening possession by scoring a touchdown and converting a 2-point conversion. Otherwise, the first possession touchdown will lead to a kickoff and the opposing team getting the ball. This one was graded a C. So between those two, Tim, what do you think? I mean, there's still a few more to go, but the team scores a touchdown, goes for
If
2
we're going,
points.
if
Go ahead.
I don't know, I think the first one is better out of the two. That first one seems a little more legitimate to me. Going for two, you're it just sits wrong. I don't know why. I when just reading it made me cringe a little bit, and I don't know. It's with as often as overtime happens in football in the pro level.
Mhm.
I don't know if it. I think more people are upset when it does happen, and I don't think it really should make a difference. I don't mind both teams having the possessions, but
Mhm.
I don't think the length is really that big a deal, because if you're going to deal with length of time, they're still behind. You're still faster than a Major League Baseball game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think time should be constricted. Should be a rule.
All right, Chris, what do you think on those first couple options for overtime? You're on mute, bud.
all the time.
There you go.
No, if I had to pick, I'd choose the first one. But I mean, the USFL rules came out this past week, and one of the rule changes is in overtime, where at overtime each team gets a possession, basically a shootout, like they do in hockey or
Yeah.
soccer. After that, then it becomes like the regular overtime rules, but. I think they should implement that one, although we have to see how it works out in the USFL. But if I had to pick between the two you read off, it'd probably be the first one.
Okay. So let's move on to some other ones here. So another one, which is to me kind of intriguing, and it graded out as a B on ESPN here, is the spot and choose. So they would do a coin toss. The winning team would get to choose to either kick or receive. If they choose to kick, then they get to choose where. Oh no, I'm sorry. Instead of choosing whether to kick or receive, the coin toss would the winner would choose the choice of where the ball is spotted, and then the losing team would have to choose if they want to play defense or offense on that one. So what it's coming down to is coin flip. Tim wins. He says we want to take it. We want the ball spotted on the 40. Chris loses, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to play offense from the 40 of mine, and go 40 yards down to score." So sounds kind of confusing, but it sounds like it'll be a
Yeah.
lot of strategy into it. Another one would be a full overtime period with no sudden death. So teams would play a fifth quarter, 15 or 10 minutes, and the team that is leading when the clock expires wins.
Or if there's a tie.
Exactly. So that's what I'm reading here.
Because we've had that in the past before,
Yep.
that exact rule. So
That sounds like soccer rules.
So, yeah, exactly. But again, in a tie, doesn't really specify that they would play another period or anything. The bridge,
I guess-
so, and then we have the shootout. I think a lot of people have been talking something like the college style shootout. Required you 2 points, and that one was graded to be.
well, I mean, we're going to see that in the USFL, so we'll just
Yeah.
see how that goes.
Yeah. So instead of and then they talked about eliminating the coin toss and giving the home team the first possession, and then going from there.
Like baseball.
Well,
giving the road team the first at bat, and then
yeah, but this one would be the home team would get the first possession, and then
Yeah.
after that. So, and then one that really intrigued me is eliminate the clock and play on. So what this states is that however the game ends, so let's say the Colts had the ball 3rd and 9 on their opponent's 35, game ends. Overtime will start off at that exact same spot and time of possession. No clock. So the Colts will get the first ball, 3rd and 9 at the 35 or whatever. That's where overtime would start. So they would get, literally one chance to score or kick a field goal, and then the opposing team then would get their drive. Not using clock, and then the first team to let's see. Did it say first team to score? Yeah, first team wins the score. So you line up, you're on the 35. Why wouldn't you try to kick a field goal and end it right there? Because it says first team to score. So, what are your guys' thoughts on those 7 proposals? I mean,
the spot thing kind of confuses me, and they
Yep.
did that in the Pro Bowl, but
yeah,
I watched that a little bit, and
yeah,
I got confused. And I
yeah.
was watching it, so I don't know if that would work.
The spot and choose I think would be kind of confusing, but I think you would also, how many people are going to put it on their or the opposing 15 and have them go 15 yards? So it'll be interesting to see that one. Tim, what do you think, or do you have an idea for overtime?
My idea is always going to be the same. It goes back to college. It just that rule just instead of after 3 overtimes going for 2, you start going for 2 after 2. But I think I don't know. I think you should make the teams go for 2. I think the college shootout is good. If they tie, they play one entire quarter. They tie. It doesn't. You should be one drive, and if they can't get it done in one drive, then forget it.
Yeah, no,
it's just I have no problems with ties.
I don't either. I think it makes the standings interesting.
Yep. Nope. NFL's always had ties in the regular season. I think a lot of it comes down to in the playoffs of what they should do. Because back in the day, it was first team score, game over. If they ran the kickoff back, if they kicked a field goal, the game was over. And then they changed it to where if they kick a field goal, then the other team gets a shot at it. to win it. And now, people are just bringing it up more and more because they don't think it's fair. After the team scored a touchdown, well, my team should get the chance to rebuttal and get a chance to score. Which, again, I mean, I get it, but I mean, there's going to be no perfect overtime rule because somebody's going to be hurt, because their team didn't get a chance to react, you know. So we'll see what it does. I mean, I kind of like the college shootout, um, but I think they
Yeah.
should every time, if both teams score on the first drive, then they should move it back another 5-10 yards, to make it a little bit more easier. You know, maybe give them 4 downs at the 35 to score, and if they don't score, then the other team gets a shot at it. Um, I don't know. We'll see where the overtime rule goes. So, but moving on to our next topic, going to break down. I think I said the AFC South. I could be wrong.
I believe.
Uh,
Didn't we
did
do
I
that
say the
last week?
West?
You're wrong.
Okay.
Okay. AFC West. Yes, I'm sorry. AFC. I don't know why I had the South in.
Yeah.
So AFC West. So last year, shoot, I had the standings up here. Kansas City won it.
Denver
Vegas was
last
behind
place.
them. The Chargers and then Denver Broncos finished off 7-10. So I think we all are anticipating this division to be one of the hardest divisions in football, most entertaining. So, Chris, I'll start with you. Where do you see this division ending right now with the moves that have been made with these teams? Um, so, what do you got?
It's going to be interesting. Right now, I think it's between Denver and Kansas City, 1 and 2.
Okay.
You know, Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes, and then you got Denver, who picked up Russell Wilson. So both quarterbacks are really good. It just depends on how they finish out. Um, I think I think it can have like a double tie, so to speak. 1 and 2 can go to Kansas City in Denver, and then the other two spots can be one. The other two, because you know Raiders could be third. I think it's going to be Denver, Kansas City, in Oakland or Las Vegas are
Okay.
in
All
the
right,
top.
Tim, how about you? What do you think this division is going to look like at the end of next season?
This is interesting to watch. Truthfully, this is a division that could honestly go 3-3 against each other. It could honestly be these three. It's all going to depend on what goes on outside of their division. This is a division that's going to eat itself, and it's going to be funny to watch. Just on that note alone, as much as we all see that AFC West could load the playoffs, I can honestly see only one of the teams making the playoffs, just by how much they're going to be destructive to themselves. With that being said, I think this is going to get me shot by some people. I already know it. I see it Kansas City, Denver, with what, and it's going to be. I think Denver's going to have a problem with the Chargers. I think the Chargers did a lot this offseason to make themselves huge. I think the City right clear cut leader in that division, but I think it's Denver, Los Angeles going for 2, and the Raiders are looking at 4th. But who knows? Injuries and schedules outside of the division is going to be crucial.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you. I definitely think the division could go 3-3 all the way. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some deep overtime games, possibly a couple ties in this division. Um, to pick how they're going to rank, Tim, I'm with you. I think we could possibly see one team win this. I mean, or in the playoffs, I should say. I mean, of course, only one team's going to win the division. I mean, Kansas City's got to be the upper hand, followed by, I'm going to go with the Chargers at number 2 because I like what they did on the defensive side of the ball. And then after that, Raiders and Denver, I think, are going to battle for 3 and 4. Um, but yeah, I can see this division. I could even see Kansas City being the 3rd team. I mean, with injuries and how they draft and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of ways this division could end up. But I'm with Tim. I think we're going to only get one team out of this division right now. I mean, granted, you bring in injuries and factors, definitely could play a different role once that all factors in. But as of right now, I see one team. So what that trade that Kansas City made gives them 2 first-round picks, I believe. Yes. Could we see them shopping those picks and maybe moving up in the draft to, maybe start solidifying their defense? Chris, what do you think?
Nothing surprises me with Kansas City. I think we all know that they don't rely on, I guess, their defense primarily. They want to pick up offensive players mainly. It depends on what they're looking for, but I don't see them trading out picks.
Okay. Tim, what about you? Do you see Kansas City possibly taking those picks and moving them up, or just kind of staying pat where they're at?
Those two with those 2 picks, I think if I'm not mistaken, those 2 picks are right next to each other. And
Yep.
if they're right next to each other, you could shop those 2 picks into could you see somebody like the Eagles who have 3 picks in the first round? You trade up for one of the high picks, one of the Eagles hikes, and that all of a sudden you shot both of them up, and then up one high pick in the top 15, 4 picks. I could easily see them moving into a spot. Maybe they could be moving into Detroit for number 2 pick, going after Thibodeau. I don't know. Anything's possible at this point.
Yeah, no, you're right. Eagles have 3 picks. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what our thoughts are when we get to that division on what they might do. But, Kansas City, if I'm them, I'm listening to phone calls, try to move up in the top 10 to, get a stud defense because, I mean, we all know their defense was kind of rocky, but when that defense is on, it's top 10 in the league, and it proved that. So, with that being said, guys, do we got anything else to cover? I'm just kind of looking on ESPN here. Chris, you kind of brought up Watson, more trials and going through, and I don't really want to talk about that, but what's the likelihood of we see the Browns actually having Baker and Watson both on the roster? Tim, I'll start with you. What do you think? You think that's going to be a likelihood, or do you think they're still going to Baker's going to be on a different team come next year?
I think it all depends on what the front office in the NFL front office does on along the lines of suspension. I think you can easily, if he doesn't get suspended for more than 3 games, is Cleveland willing to start the backup and let Baker walk? If it's 6-game suspension, are you going to let Baker start? If he doesn't get a suspension, because crazier things happen in the NFL, and then you let him walk. I think there's a good possibility that I think Baker's not with the Browns come day 1 of the season.
Okay. Chris, how about you? What do you think chances are Baker's with the Browns start week 1?
Right now, I see him, starting at week 1. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. It depends on the Watson thing and how, if Baker's traded out or not.
Okay, yeah, I think like Tim said, I think it all comes down to what the NFL is going to do. A lot of people are saying right now it's going to be a 6 to 8 game suspension. With that case, you keep Baker, but how big of a head case is Baker going to be in the locker room? So, if he doesn't get suspended or it's going to be like a 3 game, then I think you move on with Baker and get what you can for him. But it sounds like there's only a couple teams looking for quarterbacks right now that have openings. Seattle and I think Carolina. A lot of teams are talking. And there's only 2 quarterbacks really looking for jobs right now. That's Jimmy G and Baker. So and both teams have backups already or quarterbacks in place, so they're not going to get a big offer for neither one of them. So if Baker's on a different team, I think he's getting released. I don't think they're going to be
Yeah.
able to trade for him. So, with that being said, guys, I know about halfway. Typically we go an hour. Just looking over, Kansas City Chiefs signed a 1-year deal with Bucks running back Jones. Tim, what do you think of that move? There, kind of a minor move, but
It's a minor move that gives them a big back to go with the backs they've already got. It's again, this is the weapon. Like this is another weapon for a nuclear arsenal. It's just unnecessary at this point.
okay. Chris, what do you think? I mean, I think Tim said it the best. Minor move, but gives them a big playmaker, a big back that Kansas City needs.
Yeah, it does. I mean, they've had big, big players before, and maybe it'll help out.
Yeah. And then Chris, I just look here. I see the Jets have a new kicker, former Dallas kicker. I can't pronounce his name, but
Yeah,
what do you think there, bud? Helps with your Dallas Cowboys and probably their sap calorie, right?
it it does, but I don't know if he's going to be. I don't know if any team's going to be the right fit for him. I mean, he struggled majority of the season. He kind of did better towards the end, but I don't know. I just don't think it'll work out for New York Jets.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you on that one, Chris. I don't think the Jets. I mean, Jets are kind of like the Lions now. Just don't know what's going to happen, and I think a lot of fans are like, "Come on, you guys can't have this much bad luck. How many mirrors have you guys broken in your lifetime?" So, um, moving on, a couple more notes here. Actually, I don't know if this comes to a shock, but I'm going to bring it up because Chris, I know you kind of kept your eye out for the 7-on-7 league. Johnny Manziel is saying his pro career is over. He's going to go back to playing that fan dual
Fan
league.
controlled football, yeah.
Yeah. So are we kind of shocked that? I mean, really, Manziel, do you really tell us your pro career is over? I mean, Tim, what do you think?
Speaking of Cleveland Brown quarterbacks,
Yeah.
that wasn't much of a shock. It's yeah. I don't think we needed that update on Twitter.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think that writing was on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Chris? I mean,
He could have joined Brady Quinn in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, that would have been more of a shocker than him announcing that he's done with pro football. So, guys, with that being said, I mean, we're going around the room. I know it's kind of a short episode, but there wasn't really much to talk about. Just wanted to get out the breaking news, talk about Mr. Clayton passing away, breakdown. So, Chris, what do we got going on for C2C today and the rest of the week?
Tonight we have Between the Ropes, getting ready for WrestleMania coming up next week. Next weekend, I should say. And then Tuesday we have a special interview on deck.
Okay. So, Tim, what do you got going on halfway around the world for tonight and before we see you possibly next week?
Not much. I'd love to say that I've got a whole lot, but there's really not. I most of my stuff is I just try to do homework for this show. So
All right.
that tells you how boring it is.
All right. So with that being said, yeah, like Chris said, join us tonight for Between the Ropes. Get ready for WrestleMania Tuesday special interview with former MLB pitcher Josh uh, Ronecki. Like I said, I'm going to butcher his name until I hear it from him. Sorry about that, Josh, but definitely tune into that. Keep tuning out to Coast. We got a lot of great shows. I know there's a new show in the works. I think a lot of people are going to be intrigued by that one once we get confirmation on that show. But with that being said, guys, hey, if more breaking news happens, catch us next Sunday. If not, I know we're going to be doing a Sunday draft show once the draft concludes, and then we'll talk about that. So, with that being said, this is Big B with my host Crispy Bacon and Tim. We'll check you all on our next episode on Morning Tailgate. You guys have a good weekend.